achievements?
Hey, hi there guys. So my name is Manish. I have upwards of 3.5 years of experience as of now in cybersecurity field, and my company name is Control.
So I'm Bobby. I have around 4 years of experience. So before this, I was in a startup. So there's where I was hiring people. So but currently, it didn't work out. So yeah, I'm moving back to jobs.
Okay, so then we start with you only. What is that one thing which you see in people when you're hiring for cybersecurity?
So actually, I didn't hire for cybersecurity. Generally, I would say when, especially when you're running a startup at that point in time, you think like, what is the energy you do spend or invest on a particular individual before they deliver value, right? So that's the main point. Other things I think like how they will fit culturally inside the organization, how they connect with other people. Those are the factors. Right?
So you probably hired for development?
Yeah.
Development के लिए कोई इंटरेस्ट So what do you see in development?
So I mean, generally when you are building a product, you might have a stack, right? So what are the things that you require in that? What are the things they have built in that? Or whether they have any interest in learning things that you don't know about it. Right? So these are the things that generally you cover. Apart from that, obviously, so there are mistakes while hiring. So within first 2-3 weeks, you know that this is not the guy.
So for like how many years of experience do you have? Like your ideal candidate?
So usually I have hired freshers also and a few years of experience. It's been a whole range of people who have interviewed for a single position apparently, and it was pretty hard to fill those shoes. Cybersecurity is usually kept as an afterthought, at least within your product-based companies. If you are security first companies, then it's very good, but it's a good chance that you will get an organization who has decided to pivot to cybersecurity just to adhere to certain regulatory norms such as RBI will mandate you to follow certain rules, or else PCI DSS rules will apply to you if you are processing some payment information. So usually it's industry shifts like these, and for that if you are hiring a person, you look at what the experience they have. Secondly, what kind of project they have worked on. Because if you have decided that yes, I'm looking at cybersecurity as a career, but cybersecurity is a portion in itself. So you need to be very specific. Yeah, I need to go to the red teaming route, or I need to go to the blue teaming route. At least first, you should be very clear to begin with where I can go, and then of course you can mix and match and gain experiences on basis of that you can transfer.
What is one of those things that you see probably in a CV or resume? When you are hiring, you are like, "Bhai, ye banda apne ko chahiye." So what is that? 2 or 3 things maybe that you see.
So programming languages like Python, C#, then Java, then database languages like SQL, KUL, and then networking knowledge. Networking knowledge is much for resume, like, and then basic like Splunk. If you are going to SOC, then Splunk is there. Then IBM QRadar. These are tools used for as a beginner.
What do you think is one of the biggest strengths right now while working in cybersecurity? You start to build a team.
So I guess it's a very cool word from outside. That's what I feel like. So.
Since I guess you also recruited for development.
Yeah, my previous company was in cybersecurity. So I know about it. From outside it looks a bit cool, and we were building a SaaS platform for observability of the vulnerabilities, right? And whenever I used to look at my own dashboard, I didn't felt that good.
So cybersecurity is not that rosy. Let me tell you that being in the system for a while. But the thing is that it's an exciting job, yes. You are learning every day here. Plus, not every day will be monotonous. Every day there will be new challenges. So that is something that I wanted to be out of my job, because I'm not one of those guys who will be like, yes, I have a set schedule and I will do this and I am happy. It's like थोड़ा अलग mindset लगता. But yes, if you have that mindset, please go for it, because end of the day, after a couple of years down the line, after at least you are an subject matter expert in one thing. I would not say everything, because there is a generalist route and there is a specialist route. So I chose the generalist route because that made sense for me.
So biggest myths. Biggest myth in cybersecurity according to you?
Biggest myth.
दो तीन भी बोल सकते हैं.
Like currently, if you see in SOC, then they need 3 to 5 years experience. So yeah, that's
a myth.
Yeah,
that's a myth. Elaborate more, because I don't know.
So for SOC, like you need projects, cybersecurity projects, then internships, then you need experience into network, because you can't go directly into cybersecurity. You start with some network engineering or NOC operations, like network operations security centers, right? Yeah. So
from all the things you wanted to know, would you rather suggest a person directly go into cybersecurity or pivot into it from a networking role, development role, or something like that? Correct.
So networking is important in cybersecurity. So go with basic only. Like NOC is there, networks operation security.
So you prefer them directly apply for cybersecurity role?
So no, I'm saying that only. So start with networking concepts and networking network engineering jobs or NOC users, like network operations, like that.
So I'm saying networking.
I guess generally for any kind of roles, first of all, understanding fundamentals is also quite important, right? Be it development or be it anything, like in this field. You first need to know like what is DNS, how does the entire system works, so someone asked me, how do you find vulnerability in your application, right? For that you need to know what exactly goes around it. So you may not necessarily be a developer, but you need to know what exactly goes to make the entire system. So that's what I'm saying.
So pivot or directly?
So it depends, Yeah, so I would say you need to understand the system. That's the thing. So you might think of building something and then see how those things work. Or, at least understand how exactly what is the entire flow of any kind of application, how will you do it.
So I will take you through my journey. I think it might be helpful. So during my engineering, I had a lot of free time. I was a student. उस टाइम पे किचन का पता नहीं था मुझको, ना ही मुझको नल का पता था.
Haxnation you get
हाँ?
Haxnation of a new line.
हाँ, Haxnation. अरे यार, so I have known you about meetups and like where I could learn. Okay. उस टाइम पे there used to be a wonderful website called as Cybersecurity. So Cybersecurity पे I did that courses like from a smaller level of CA से लेके CISO के level के सब like CSS वगैरह सबका learning was free. So if you don't give the exam, you can view all the videos for free back then. So that's where I started my gaining my knowledge in cybersecurity, as cybersecurity was my passion back then. Like back then my job was TV production apparently, but yes, good stuff. So I was very passionate about cybersecurity. Usme I did learn from cybersecurity a bit. After my cybersecurity stint, I assume most of your colleges will be linked with Coursera. If you are from Mumbai University, all the Mumbai University colleges have free Coursera access. So Coursera certs, which I would strongly suggest, would be Google Defense in the Dark Arts, then Defense Against the Dark Arts.
So I have a point related to exploration. So I would say when you are in college, you shouldn't have that high mindset initially, especially in the initial years. because exploration at that point of time, the opportunity cost of it is very, very low. In future, when you will have a job and when you have graduated, at that point of time, you will always think everything, how can this make you money? But while you are in college, you can explore n number of things, and I think before seeking your any kind of, you should first think about what are the possibilities that you can do, and then based on that you kind of think and figure, okay, let me do this one in third year or fourth year or maybe after that. There is never too late about it. So I think exploration is something that you should always look up to when you are in college.
So that's why I said I decided to Torihana, because if you don't do something you don't love, because it's my philosophy. As a work, if you don't do something that motivates you, it's not worth the pain, to be honest.
Anyone from the audience has any questions?
Please bring your question.
अगर कोई जीआरसी में काम कर रहा है या फिर किसी और डिपार्टमेंट में काम कर रहा है कंप्लायंस में, तो ऐसा है क्या कि एटीपी का कोई ऐसा ही पाथ हो एक्चुअल कि ये फॉलो करके उसमें जा सकते हैं या फिर किसी और बैकग्राउंड से भी जा सकते हैं?
I mean, see, there is no hard and fast rule कि तुम जा सकते हो नहीं जा सकते हो. It all depends on your grade to learn. I'm not sure what your background is, but I can let you know that I have worked with people who have done their 12th pass, who have done BComs, and are working with the engineers and doing better than that. So first myth है कि ये चाहिए वो चाहिए, background doesn't matter. It's all about upskilling and self-learning. If you want to upskill, you can go anywhere. You can go to Red Teams, you can go to Blue Teams, you can go to GRC. It's all open.
एक्चुअली अभी मैं वर्किंग बीएपीटी में कर रहा हूँ, तो अगर मुझे रेट के लिए कोई जाना तो उसका क्या पाथ रहेगा?
So I would say you are much closer to it. So if you are working in BAPT, I assume you are working with testing the applications, right? Testing network and various applications, the clients, mobile applications, right? So you are much closer part to the red team, because what red team exactly is the combination of all of this. So red team is basically you have a target and you use all your methods to reach the parameter or whatever objective is of your red team. So you need to be thorough with your web application testing. You need to be thorough with your network testing. You need to be thorough with your SCRs or mobile application, because in red team what you do basically is whatever your target is, it will have the web application, it will have the mobile applications, it will have the network. So whatever you are doing currently, all of that combined you will be using in red team. So if you want to pursue that, I would suggest that you fill your gaps here. Be as good as you can be in the current profession, that is the BAPT part, and just learn to use your knowledge combined to excel in the red team.
सर उसके लिए ऐसा रहता है क्या कि बस एक्सपीरियंस के बेस पे जाओ या फिर कोई सर्टिफिकेट लाइक रेसिपी वगैरह करके ही आप जा सकते हैं?
Not really. See, to be frank, certificate is what I believe is only the bypass of the HR in our profession. Even if you are OSCP certified or the top level certificate certified, and if you cannot explain to me what a basic DNS is, your certificate is good for nothing for me, right? But even if you don't have the certificate, but you know the AD systems, you know how the web application works, how you can get past it, all that matters to me. So certificate is not that thing. You can just focus on gaining the knowledge and upskilling, and you look for the companies that give you an opportunity to progress from the web applications and the normal application testing to the red team one. So there are many companies which have the basic services as the application pen testing and the red teams as well. So what they do is they don't directly put you over there. Once you have worked few years of experience in the AppSec, they put you under some of the senior person whom you can assist in red team, so that you get an exposure how the activity is done, and from there you can progress upwards.
But sir, अगर मैं किसी कंपनी से ज्वाइन करता हूँ तो how much experience I have to take a Intel company before switching?
It totally depends. As I said, that it all depends upon your upskilling, right? So So if you have gained enough knowledge in 2 years as well, nobody can stop you for getting. I mean, if I ask you a question, if I give you a problem that is 5-year-old challenge or 10-year-old challenge, but even if you, with your 2 years of experience, you can solve it enough, I am okay with it.
Okay, actually the same question goes to you three. That how soon do you think a person fits a problem?
Okay, so for me, it would be depends on a lot of factors, but first would be keep straight in front of it. Don't look at the years, is my opinion. Like cybersecurity, HR or years का कोई लेना देना नहीं होता है. Being very frank. So look at the positions which are getting, look at the job descriptions, and उसके अंदर अपने आप को दिखाना कोशिश करो कि if the JD is 100%, are my skills enough for 70% of the job? If there's a 30% plus minus, I think it's good, to be honest.
How many years you have to switch?
Say 2 to 3 years ago.
I would say there's a couple of software engineering that is answer to every question you takes. So I mean, it's your own internal factor, right? I mean, I don't think so there's a template for anything, right? That you should follow this. So I guess if you are in a current organization, you are not getting growth, you are not happy. I mean, the biggest reason why people don't switch is they are not ready to go into the job market and get that thing, okay, that they are not prepared, right? Because when you start interviewing, it doesn't, sound good initially, like you fail certain interviews and then you further. So I would say just have that confidence in yourself and look at the opportunities that you are currently having, and if you think you have growth in your current organization, then continue. If you don't want growth, it's what you want, right? You might not want growth, right? So then stay there. If you want something, then keep on preparing. And I would say look for jobs that you have, that's a better approach.
So it's what it is, growth versus output.
So I guess stability versus growth. That is because I know when you join a new organization, it's very tough to sink in. Like every organization has their own system, you need to understand it. And then you also need to consider all those elements, how fluid you are, how quickly you can form those connections with new people, how quickly you can understand. Because initially when you join an organization, you observe more and react less, right? So how quickly you can absorb, how like all those factors, you're not able to control. So that's it.
One last question.
सर एक लास्ट क्वेश्चन अब बीएपीटी में काम करते हुए अगर वेब ऐप का तो कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि हम नेटवर्क में चले जाते हैं तो फिर और कोई कंसेप्ट होता है तो ऐसे ओवरलैप करना सही है कि प्रिसाइज रहना चाहिए कि नहीं वेब भी कर रहे हो तो वेब भी करो नेटवर्क कर रहे हो तो नेटवर्क ही करो ऐसा
Can you just add on to it so that I can answer it a little better?
हाँ जैसे कि अगर मान लो मैं वेब एप्लीकेशन के बारे में डिफाइन कर रहा हूँ और मुझे कहाँ पे रूट फुल मिल गया और मैंने उसे एक्सप्लोर किया पर वो नेटवर्क के पर्सपेक्टिव से किया तो ऐसे चलेगा क्या सर कि नहीं बस वेब का करें तो वेब का ही करो नेटवर्क का करें तो नेटवर्क का ही करो
So I'll just make it a bit more crisp. What he's actually trying to say is that, if you're going to attack web, should you only specialize in that, or should you do it from that into other technologies? Example, web में bug मेरा फिर cloud के अंदर quickly उससे internet network करें. So how do you suggest we should go ahead? Should we just stick or should we keep on expanding?
So I'm assuming that you are asking this question from the organization perspective, right? You are working under some company and you are getting some projects and you are asking from that perspective, right? So first thing here is you can to show the impact. So let's say you have found a vulnerability in web application and you can use to chain the attacks and pivot and show the impact की ये vulnerability इतने level पे exploit होगी ये impact हो सकता है. But the thing is you are not working as a freelancer, you are not working as a work bounty person. So if you are working for an organization, you get a project, let's say that you are working on the web application and you want to pivot to network or something, right? So when you work for an organization, you are bound by certain timelines. एक वेब एप्लीकेशन इतने APIs का है, you have to complete it in this many days. Your report should go on this end. So when you are bound by such tight deadlines, you can, but you don't get that opportunity to explore, right? Because अगर तुम्हें कहा कि 4 दिन में खत्म करना है इसको, and you have to make it go. So, but bug bounty में कैसा होता है? You can stick to one vulnerability and go deep into the rabbit hole. But when you work for a service-based company, it's not like that. You have to cover the entire service. You have to look for the injections. You have to look for the cross-site scripting and all other vulnerabilities that are possible. So time constraint होता है. But if you can to show the impact, you can do it. To say severity आप एक्स्ट्रा दिखा सकते हो. So let's say that you found an informational vulnerability or low vulnerability. But if you can show the impact by pivoting it, exploiting it. Let's say you have the CD which requires a network level exploit. You can show it and increase the impact. But again, if you are working for an organization, you are bound by the timelines. But if you are working as a freelancer or a bug bounty person and you have that limitations to the scope that you can exploit the scope to that level, you can do it. But when you work for an organization, deadline is a factor that you consider.
ठीक है, I guess that was our time. Thank you so much for joining in. Yeah, thank you.